This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. Hello viewers and welcome back to another My Hero Academia read-through, and today we're going to be reading chapter 254. And last week, a lot of new things we have learned. Last week when we went to the UA and then we left UA in Class 1A to be with Aizawa and President Mike. And those two have discovered that Kurogiri, the teleporting who used to work for Shigaraki as his teleporter, turns out that he may have shared either DNA or his quirk with a guy named Shirakumo Oboro, or Shirakumo, that used to be a good friend of Aizawa before Shirakumo died. And it's implied that Kurogiri is also technically the very first Nomu we ever met. So yeah, that's a lot to take in, and we got a lot of good covers. And right now, for the first page we're going to look at is the big splash page of probably the top 10 from the popularity contest show. We see the 10 who is super popular and they are looking fancy in their costumes, looking great. Weirdly enough, Bakugo is technically the first place winner, and when I see this, his costume, it kind of resembles something else that I know with the weapons and the grenades and the shotgun ammo. Kind of makes me think that Bakugo may be a fan of Doom Guy for some weird reason. So we have the top 10 from the popularity contest. And it goes Bakugo, Midoriya, Shinzo, Shoto, Kaminari, Ida. Can't really tell. Doing my best with the numbers because they hit the numbers too good. But anyway, it's just saying that the movie's coming out for December 10th and December 20th on Japan. I'm going to be here. But let's just get into the proper chapter. And we're moving on to chapter number 254. And the title is called You Want to Be a Hero More Than Anyone Else. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. So we start off, strangely enough, for this chapter. We go back into a flashback with we get to know a little more information on Shirakumo. And we get a little flashback of Shirakumo, and he starts speaking. As long as the three of us stick together, there's not a problem in the world we can't resolve. And we got a little flavored box, text box saying Shirakumo Oboro lost his life when we were interning together. So I guess this is Aizawa speaking. And we continue more on this flashback. We see young President Mike and young Aizawa. And more of Aizawa keeps speaking. The three of us were planning on founding our own agency. And we continue with Aizawa, like young Aizawa speaking, as far as I know. Like I said, Shota would take care of all the details for us. The incident happened shortly afterwards, so that's how he died. And we cut over to young President Mike, and he says, and we'll never fight over money, alright? And more of Aizawa speaking. He was caught under a collapsing building. Oh, so he died buried alive in ruins of a building. I thought he died to a rock in last week's chapter, as far as I know. An all too early death. Long ago, we all aimed to be heroes together. And we got a little flavor text of saying, back when they were all UA students. And Aizawa finishes his little story saying, in other words, there's a high probability that Kurogiri is a Nomu, constructed with Shirakuma's body as its base. So, yeah, it's firmly confirmed that Kurogiri was technically the first Nomu we ever met, and technically the first high-end Nomu that was successful in still keeping his intelligence. And yeah, and it's confirmed. Yeah, I was right about the second thought I mentioned, that they either took his dead body and tampered with it to make Kurogiri. So basically, Kurogiri is just Shirakumo's dead body and just reanimated as a zombie. And President Mike's kind of shocked by this. I mean, seeing your dead friend as a zombie Nomu with his intelligence. And he continues saying, you know, they used to call us the Three Stooges of Class A. The Three Stooges. Oh, I would love to play that theme now, but I can't. And after that, we're Proclamation. President Mike freaks out at the next panel and he says, I still don't get it. Why? I still don't get what you're talking about. And we get a little flashbacks with All for One, and she repeats what we heard about all the most exceptional quirks are gathered together at UA. As such, there's only one logical conclusion to make. So he's been taking dead bodies from UA. So that's a pretty good place to scrounge up dead bodies from the morgue. And then dead bodies, that's a lot of cannibalism going on there. As we cut to Gran Torino continuing, and he says, like a homeless man scrounging for scraps behind a 3-star restaurant. He's most likely switched out the corpse before the cremation process and turned him into a deranged beast we know as Nomu. Don't bother trying to understand, DJ. There is nothing to understand it. And we see, while this was going on, we cut to Kurogiri not doing anything. And President Mike, not President Mike, Gran Torino finishes up with only evil. Yeah, you don't need to explain. Cannibalism of dead bodies, using them as playthings for mad science to make Nomus into weaponized weapons of war. That's a little messed up. And President Mike just continues saying, I just don't get it. And I think the director of the police, I can't remember his name right on top of my head, he chimes in and he says, he's sleeping right now. Otherwise, he tried to use his quirk. And Aizawa continues saying, so why us in particular? And we get a little closer into Aizawa as he finishes and says, don't tell me. You were hoping for some miracle using the power of friendship. Oh god, even I know that's kinda stupid, and Aizawa just pokes at that stupid cliche. Using the power of our friendship could beat anything, and if we be happy and sing kumbayas, maybe he'll come back to life and be whole again. And I'd probably go along with it. Like, yeah, I agree with Aizawa, and Aizawa finishes with saying, real life isn't some shonen movie. When you realize we're reading, oh god, that's goddamn funny when you think about it ironically because Aizawa is in a shonen series and yeah, they had like 2 movies already. That is kind of ironic coming from me saying reading this. It's kind of ironically funny. And with that little giggle out of the way, Gran Torino continues with saying, with the proper explanations in place, miracles become possibilities. So you're really gonna do the whole power of friendship bullshit and singing Kumayas to Kurogiri thinking it'll put him straight? Nah, I'm calling him Bull. And we cut and we jump to page 6, and I know I've been not numbering it because all this Kumbaya shit is stupid. And we continue having a flashback to the Endeavor fight with the technically the second high end, but the first proper introduction to high end, as Gran Torino continues, saying, the Nomu that Endeavor defeated in Kitsuru clearly possessed a sense of individuality, as well as a lingering obsession with strong opponents. And we get more information on that high-end Nomu and getting who he used to be before the Mad Doctor tinkered with his DNA. And Gran Torino continues saying, after examining the DNA of its burnt corpse, well, whatever cells remain from Endeavor's big disco inferno, we discovered that its original body was a ruffian from the underground fight club. And Aizawa continues with saying, so his original character may have remained intact. Unfortunately, I've already fought against him once at UA. Not only he not only is his way of speaking different, but he didn't react at all when we fought. Yeah, that's true. He would have reacted. Well, we did get some weird reactions during the whole Stain arc. This technically explains this whole having a strong connection to something from the former body of these people did have an effect, like with the Fight Club, with the underground Fight Club guy being high end. The one from one that there was a weird thing that went on with the whole Stain arc with the Flying Nomu taking Midoriya, and people with going deep into the lore and stuff, and even Horikoshi brought this weird thing up involving the Mad Doctor's grandson was a friend, was part of that groupie with Bakugo as a kid, and it further implies that maybe that Flying Nomu that got stabbed in the brain by Stain was actually the same person? And you're saying that maybe there might be a strong characteristic of Shiro could still be in there, but clearly the Mad Doctor can be crazy and maybe he put some kind of fail safes in case something like that would happen. And we continue with 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 I don't know who's speaking, probably Aizawa, probably the head of the guards, saying, yes, his character may have been intact then, but he may also have just been moving in based on erased or modified memories. So yeah, that's probably a good idea to prevent rebelling Nomus and from turning sides. Yeah, that's a good idea. And we have the head warden continue, and he says, like I said before, if we can get him to talk somehow, everything may become clear. Eraserhead, present Mike. And we cut to page 7, and we get present Mike and Aizawa in a conversation room with Kurogiri and being all silence the lambs. Oh god, now I'm thinking silence the lambs. And we have the head warden continuing. I would like you two to reawaken Shirakumo's Oboro's resolve. So they're gonna try and help him. And Aizawa and President Mike are sitting on one side, and with Kurogiri on the other. And we have the rest of them, and also Gran Torino's sitting in that spare room, and the people in the other side of the glass are saying, so you're telling us to. Oh, that's probably Aizawa speaking, saying, so you're telling us to just talk about our memories. And one of them says from the other room, saying, please, what about his family? And the head warden just says, if you two aren't enough, then. And Aizawa's just looking at it and continues to the next panel. Next page, we see Aizawa using his quirk and just freezing, shutting off Kurogiri's abilities. And Aizawa just says, as if I let you tell his family anything about this. Yeah, it's kind of morbid knowing that your dead son may still be alive, but as a homicidal crazy nutcase. And we see in the third to last panel that we see one of the guards just saying, placeholder. And the guy just says, he's awake. And and the head warden says, please, begin. And Kurogiri just wakes up and he starts saying, oh, ho, what rare guests. I haven't seen you two since we attacked UA. And next page, on page 9, we go inside President Mike's head, and he says, the mist doesn't disappear even with eraser looking at him, which means his body itself is made of that stuff. Black. Yeah, I think they just wanted to do that so we don't see his skeleton or anything. And then President Mike just reacts to that and says, you sure y'all didn't get something wrong? He's got nothing in common with Shirakumo. And Kurogiri just reacts and he says, Shigaraki Tomura. Is he doing alright? He hasn't been caught, has he? And President Mike just reacts to this and says, as if I know. And Kurogiri just continues saying, too bad. And Aizawa continues and he says, are you concerned about Shigaraki? And Kurogiri continues and saying, indeed, it is my mission to look over him. And Aizawa has a bit of reaction, but right now we're having President Mike having a shouting contest saying, well, well, that's a dumbass mission. What kind of mission is that to look after some gloomy old brat? And President Mike's not thinking straight because a lot of this stuff just happened just a couple of minutes ago, knowing that your best friend, who's dead and now come back as a zombie, would mess you up a little. And President Mike's just looking over to Aizawa, and we don't know what's going on with him. And Kurogiri continues, it is no burden to me whatsoever. After all, I can't just leave him be. And Aizawa's just looking at him. And he's thinking about it. And we have Aizawa's response. And he says, he was the type of guy who would go out of his way without hesitation to pick up that abandoned kitten that couldn't pick up. That I couldn't pick up. And we have Shirakumo's a little flashback to Kirakumo's saving a little cat and saying, you can do it. And then Kurogiri continues on the next page, I don't see your point. What are you here to do? And the guard in the other room says, no reaction. And Aizawa continues, I was the type of guy who would always be hesitating. And we cut to another flashback with Aizawa meeting Shirakumo. And Shirakumo saying, So, you're Aizawa. I'm Shirakumo. Nice to meet you. And another flashback with Shirakumo, and he says, Aizawa, hurry up. They'll run out of seats at the cafeteria. And Aizawa back in Monday, and he says, but despite that, we get another flashback to Shirakumo giving his goggles to Aizawa, and Shirakumo continues saying, here, I'll lend you my goggles. Now you don't have to worry about your eyes when you fight. Look, look, we what? Look, we march. Look, we match. Sorry, that's. And Aizawa continues, you were always pushing me forward. And Kurogiri continues, you sure you have the right place? This isn't a church. So he's no response from Kurogiri still. Aizawa continues, you are always so bright, always looking ahead. Always without ever considering the consequences. And we get another flashback to the moment where Kurogiri, no, Shirakumo died. And so we see that. And Aizawa continues, even though everything would be over if you died. And Kurogiri is wobbling? Okay, and now we're back to Mon Aizawa, and he continues. You know, both Amiya, President Mike and I are teachers now. I've been really strict with the students. Yeah, you've been doing some horrible things. And I guess we get a flashback to Gran Torino saying he's talking about his it's in the spare room. He's talking about his discrepancy high exposure count, huh? And President Mike argues that, and interrupts, and he says, only on paper. And we get a flash, and we go to the UA to room 2A, and we hear someone start speaking. Hey, did you see? Ira Sensei just ran out with a real mean look on his face. Does he always have a mean look? Nah, and we cut to the 2A classroom, and they're just talking, and we get into a conversation. Nah, this one was way meaner than usual, like how he looked when he expelled us. So these are the students that were expelled last year. And remember, like way back when we first met Aizawa, he did say, All Might did say that he did expelled his entire classroom, and we're getting into so they're still around. And the conversation continues. So not as mean as when he expelled us. God, I still have nightmares about that now. I thought it was all over for me. And one random student just says, maybe, but I think we're really grown as a result, don't you think? No way. For a one warning lesson, expulsion is going way too far. Thanks to his antics, everyone in 2A is going to have that on our permanent records, you know. You want the ability to expel and re-roll students? And with that, we cut back to Aizawa continuing. And he says, yes, self-sacrifice and recklessness are very different concepts. But in order for those headstrong students to learn this, I like for them to experience death once. So, yeah, he was trying to enforce, yeah, this is very serious. Heroism is very serious. You don't take it as a joke. And people can die from relearning from what happened to his best friend who died when he was enrolled in UA. So yeah, kinda messed up, and we're getting into a lot of Aizawa's anxiety and suffering that he had over the years. And we continue with I think another flashback saying with Aizawa saying Doing so will also push them to strive even higher. So he was doing this, yeah, to improve their resolve and give them a fair warning, like, yeah, you do not want. If anybody is weak hearted, do not take this because it's going to mess you up. And Aizawa continues from the interrogation room saying, well, freedom is a founding philosophy of UA after all. I wanted you. I wanted heroes who could pull others forward like you could. To be able to live even longer. And we cut to. Oh, so he was talking to a flashback to the principal. And when we cut the camera to Kurogiri saying to be able to live even longer. And then on page 15, and Aizawa continues saying, Shirakumo, if by any chance you're still in there. And we quickly cut to Kurogiri and the head guard, who's looking, and it seems there might be a reaction. And Aizawa finishes off the chapter saying, let's all become heroes together. And the little flavor text saying, his friend of long past right before his eyes, but will his voice reach him? Chapter number My Hero Academia, chapter number 254, end. Yeah, we're getting into a lot of anxieties with Aizawa, and we get to learn what happened to the class 2A students, the students who were in Aizawa's class last year. So they're still around in UA, but now they have a permanent record on paper. So, yeah, so a lot of messed up things that we've learned, and the whole I was technically right, being right about having the Nomus being used as they got the bodies for the Nomus from dead people, and the dead people, some of those dead people are from the UA morgue, and the Mad Doctor is just tinkering with them to make his Nomus and the high-end Nomus, and there might be a chance that Shirakuma could be safe, or Kurogiri could be a hero, but I think I would rather keep Kurogiri a villain, because isn't that kind of half-assing what Aizawa said, saying that this life isn't like a shonen movie or a shonen book? I don't know. It's just my opinion. I think it's not gonna work. I think it might work only slightly, but I think Kurogiri's just gonna stay a villain for a long time. And yeah, so that was chapter 254, and we learned a little more about Shirokuma and what happened, and a lot of the ants, and also seeing some of the stress that Aizawa went through, and enforcing that into his students. Yeah, completely messed up. So until then, I hope to see you all in chapter 255 to see if there was a reaction to that. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you on the next chapter. So bye for now.